This is the library, which I think is my favourite room in the house. The mixture of wood and leather I always think goes extremely well together. And if ever I've got to write something and want some assistance, I always come in here. It's got no phones in here and you're not likely to be disturbed. The library itself, in actual fact, is quite old because Sir William Moore was one of the first English gentlemen to have a library, and he collected, and then since then generations have added to the collection. The Latin along the top is very appropriate for a library. I soothe troubled minds and while away the centuries, and I always think that's a lovely saying. Moving round the room, the coat of arms at the very top above the fireplace is Queen Elizabeth, and we thought for a long time that they were off a travelling chest, and we were informed by a historian not so long ago that no, this was not the case, but this would have been displayed above where the Queen was sitting at meal times, and would have been a sort of glorified name card. And then if we move round the room, the picture of Venice is English School by an artist called Russell. And as you can see from the library, the size of the library, it's not exactly the biggest room in the house, but it was, and it is important in as much that it was one of the first libraries of its time. And moving round to the doorway, we see the picture of the house with an additional wing as to what there is now. And the additional wing was built by Sir George Moore, son of the builder, and there was a riding school, a picture gallery, which would have been that window on the extreme right, and a chapel, as well as some bedrooms, no doubt, as well. It was really as a result of the family and the big picture when financial reserves were somewhat reduced, and this wing fell into disrepair and was pulled down about 180 years ago, which we have mixed feelings, because obviously we could have done a huge amount with the wing, and but the other side of the coin is that we have to re-roof Loseley this year, and originally it would have been roofed in Horsham slab, and in actual fact we have a lovely manuscript, a receipt for the transport of this Horsham slab, which says transportation of slab to your new house at Loseley, the sum of £25, which actually would be a large amount of money, but as you can imagine, the roof is going to cost considerably more than £25. But the family did sell the Horsham slab in 1850 because financial resources were low, and they managed to buy the slate, which is what's on there at the present moment, and effectively they managed to obtain a free roof. We're now going to tile it, and hopefully it'll come back to being a little softer than the slate that's there. There's an interesting picture here of the banquet and celebrations after harvest, and of all the members of the estate coming in and celebrating in the Great Hall, which, as you see, has changed a little bit. The fireplace has been moved, but otherwise very similar. And next to it are three children. Alexander, who is married to Sophia, and they have three children. So there's one generation of their children will take over Loseley. And then Katrina, who was married last year and is a fashion photographer. And then Tristram, our youngest, works in Wiltshire with an array of dogs. We always have had dogs at Loseley, and we've got 2 at the moment. And not forgetting our son Christopher, who was tragically killed in an accident on the estate at the age of 12. He was a tremendous character and enthusiast and loved life, and he is remembered practically on a daily basis, certainly weekly basis. His name comes up from somebody, and he's still very much part of a life at Loseley, and member of the family and remembered by so many. And then moving on to the picture of the drawing room, which you're about to go into. And Sarah gave me this as a Christmas present a few years back. And interestingly enough, all the furniture in this room isn't necessarily here today, but is in different rooms throughout the house. So it's rather fun to see what they chose to put in there, together with the roaring log fire.